But also,
in his first speech since formally launching his re-election bid, U.S. President Joe Biden was interrupted with chants of 4 more years on Tuesday. Biden told the friendly crowd of union workers there was more to do, but that his economic plan was working, citing headlines from major newspapers.
Wall Street Journal writes, quote, America is back in the factory business. A recent column in the New York Times, Make Manufacturing Greater Again was the title of the article. It goes on to say, President Biden appears to be presiding over the kind of manufacturing served that Trump had promised.
Earlier on Tuesday, Biden announced his re-election campaign in a video that opens with imagery from the attack on the U.S. Capitol by supporters of Donald Trump, who has falsely claimed there was widespread electoral fraud in 2020 after losing to Biden by 7 million votes. The former president, who Biden might face again in 2024, released a video of his own in response to Biden's candidacy.
You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our nation in just a few short years, not even close.
In his speech at the Washington Hilton on Tuesday, Biden framed his re-election bid as a fight to protect American freedoms.
The threat the MAGA Republicans pose is to take us to a place we've never been.
The 80-year-old president now must overcome Americans' concerns about his age in order to win re-election. William Howell is a professor of American politics at the University of Chicago.
He's going to be 82 when should he be reelected, and if he serves out the entirety of a second term, he'll be closer to 90 than he will be to 80. And this raises lots of concerns, justifiable concerns in my view, about his ability to fulfill all the obligations of the office, concerns about his health, his ability to actually finish out a second term, and what that means for the possibility of a President Harris stepping in. There are lots of concerns that are raised in that space. One more point on this, though, the front runner on the Republican side is no spring chicken either. If it ends up being Trump, he will be 78, which will be, should he win in 2024, that would make him the second oldest person to hold the office.
A Reuters Ipsos poll completed on Monday found that 44% of Democrats say Biden is too old to run, while 35% of Republicans say Trump is too old.
Would you shut up?
The poll showed that a majority of registered voters don't want either candidate to run again, but it still showed Biden with a lead of 43% to 38% over Trump in a potential 2024 rematch.
It's nice with Biden because he does have the wisdom and he's got the experience of decades in Congress. But it would be nice to kind of get out of the old male white patriarchy.
I think he's just old.
Don't think has the capacity to finish this term, I wish. Sorry.
I'm really excited. So I'm super excited that he's running this term. Primarily because, as a gay man, a lot of my rights with the other parties can be in jeopardy.
I would prefer some totally different people being in those things. We've seen what we've had in those choices. We know what is there.
My initial thoughts are I'm actually a little bit indifferent. I really haven't seen a lot of the policies and things that he was stating while he was campaigning. So, I'm kind of at the point where I really don't care if he's going to run or not.
I think it's wonderful. It seems like we're doing pretty good, and I don't know anybody else that I'd want us to represent us right now at this difficult time that we're in.
Speaking for a lot of folks in my generation, I feel like President Biden doesn't really speak to a lot of the issues that we care about the most. I wish that there was a more progressive candidate.
I'm a little bothered. He's a little old, and if I can't join the Army at 58, I don't think he should run the country at 80.
Mixed. I was hoping to kind of have a newer, more exciting candidate run. Biden's very safe.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump is facing a fresh civil trial over alleged sexual misconduct nearly 3 decades ago. A jury was chosen to hear the case in New York on Tuesday. Former Elle magazine advice columnist E. Jean Carroll is suing Trump for allegedly raping her in a Bergdorf Goodman department store dressing room in late 1995 or early 1996, and also for defaming her by denying it happened. Carroll is seeking unspecified damages for pain and suffering, psychological harm, and invasion of privacy. The former president has denied the accusation, calling it a hoax and complete scam in an October 2022 post on his Truth Social platform. Sean Crowley, the lawyer representing Carroll, told jurors on Tuesday the rape allegation against Trump is not a case of he said, she said. In Crowley's opening statement at the trial in a federal court in Manhattan, she said that Trump slammed Miss Carroll against the wall and pressed his lips to hers, an account she says other witnesses were prepared to verify. Among them, 2 friends Carroll confided in after the incident. The lawyer told jurors they would also hear testimony from 2 other women who said Trump sexually assaulted them, which Trump denies. The former president's lawyer, Joe Tacopina, countered in his opening statement that the evidence will show Trump did not assault Carroll. Tacopina also asked jurors in strongly Democratic Manhattan to set aside their feelings for Trump, a Republican and former New Yorker who has stirred up strong opinions from across the political spectrum. Trump did not attend the trial and is not required to in a civil case. According to lawyers from both sides, the former president is unlikely to testify. The trial is expected to resume on Wednesday and last up to 2 weeks.
We need a president who unites Americans and brings out the best in them, even on the toughest subjects. That will be my approach as president.
Republican White House hopeful Nikki Haley on Tuesday jumped into one of the more sensitive and divisive issues of the 2024 election campaign: reproductive rights.
I am pro-life. I am unapologetic or unhesitant about it.
The abortion issue is a thorny one for Republican candidates who have largely avoided talking about it in the early months of the 2024 campaign and haven't laid out any specific policies. Haley, the former governor of South Carolina and the only female candidate in the Republican presidential race, did not offer any new policy proposals in her roughly 20-minute speech, but she did stress the importance of compassion.
I believe in conversation. I believe in compassion. I believe in empathy, not anger. We're not just talking about policy here. We're talking about people. That's often lost in this debate, on the left and the right. But it's front of mind for me.
Haley said while she'd favor legislation restricting abortion rights at the federal level, she said that as a practical matter, Republicans were unlikely to win the majorities needed in Congress to achieve this. For the time being, Haley said, Americans should work to establish a consensus on the issue.
We should be able to agree that contraception should be more available, not less. And we can all agree that women who get abortions should not be jailed. A few have even called for the death penalty. That's the least pro-life position I can possibly imagine. My choice!
But finding consensus on federal U.S. abortion rights will be far from easy. Abortion has become a more central issue for voters since the U.S. Supreme Court last year overturned the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision, which had granted constitutional protections for the procedure. And debate has reignited in recent weeks with the fierce legal fight over distribution of a widely used abortion pill. In her speech, Haley avoided mentioning the pill altogether.